So I think I said like at the start of all this, like I want to be one of those people that has the success story. And you're like, yeah, you can have that. I'm like, whatever. You're just telling me that. It feels like it's real. Like
Yeah.
this is this is that success story that I wanted. Like I want to be that person and be like, you can have it too. So
And you mean it.
I do. Yeah. That's the thing. Like you never believe those people. Like, yeah, whatever. You're just being paid to say that. But like, no, it was, and I keep telling people about like the program. Like, I'm like, yeah, these chicks, like they really helped me out. And it's just been, it, it's like life changing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And you're not being paid, by the way, just for anybody listening to this.
oh, I'm not being paid. No, I'm not being paid. I really want people to know how amazing this is and how you can actually feel good with food and just
Hmm.
have all these changes. It's life altering.
You said carrots make me feel good, but so does having cereal for breakfast. That is awesome.
I could not cereal. Well, all those programs or whatever stupid ass diet I was trying to do is you can't have cereal. And I grew up on cereal. Like I was a latchkey kid. So like what's the easiest meal you can make? Cereal and milk. So
Yeah.
when all the programs were like, no, that's too many carbs or it's not the good fiber. Don't milk's bad. Yeah, I really like
Yes. I love that. And you also love carrot. Like it's just like it balances out and you're evidence of that. And I love it. So
things.
awesome. What do you think was like with this process? Because you did come from doing Farrell's, for anyone that doesn't know, is local to Omaha, I believe, just Omaha, right?
It's definitely a chain. It's
Oh, it
there's
is a
not
chain.
yeah, but they're real big on you work out 6 days a week, high intensity, and you follow their macros that they give you based on your weight. And looking back on it, it really makes sense why I was so damn hungry all the time. And
Yeah.
it was never enough because they were always telling you, you got to do more so you can get that beach body. You need your summer body. I'm like, where is it? I can't find it. But
Yeah. Well, first of all, how did messages like that make you feel in your fitness and wellness journey?
it was never doing enough that I just had to keep going harder and harder. And there were days where I would go and do the 45-minute kickboxing class and then come home and try to run with the dog, which I hate running. If I have to go somewhere that fast, I'm getting in a car and keep running. But I would walk her for so long just to get more calories burned. Or if it was a snowy day, like, well, I better track those calories so I can see how many I burned, because it was all about
Mm,
burning the calories. And it looking back now, yeah, I've lost a lot of my muscle tone, whatever. It'll come back, but I still wasn't happy. I
yeah.
had results that they said I'd get, but I still wasn't happy.
Mm. Why
Does
do you
that
think
feel
that was?
because there was no, it was always go harder, go harder, go harder. It was never look how far you've come or look how good you did today.
Mhm.
It was never that kind of positive reinforcement of you showed up today, you should be proud. Because some days
Yeah.
it's really hard to show up, especially for 6 days a week
Yeah.
is so much.
That's pretty unrealistic to expect people to do that 6 days a week. The average person.
Yeah. And it was hard. And then if I didn't do it 6 days a week, I felt like I was failing.
Hmm.
So I was working full time, going to school part time, raising kids, and having to meet what I thought were the right expectations for health and wellness.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
How did the macro counting make you? What was that like for your relationship with food?
It was stupid. I everything that I wanted to put in my mouth, their expectation was, and I thought if I didn't meet their expectations, I was failing. So everything I put into my mouth, I'd have to track in my Fitness Pal. And if I over, then I was like, why can't I do it? Everybody else can do it. When in reality, I don't think any of them could do it. And if they were, like, yeah, I saw some of them have results, but they did not look good. They looked sick because they were not eating enough. And then they're working out at this high intensity level.
Yeah.
So it was constantly like, and I remember my boss gave me a seltzer one day. And my first instinct was to look at the nutrition label on a can of freaking bubbly water. And it had some of that, there was like fruit juice in it. So it had carbs in it. And I was like, ooh, it might put me out of my range. And she's like, are you serious? And she's a dietitian. She was a dietitian at the time. So I was like, it's got 5 carbs in it. I'll just drink this later. She's like, seriously? All right. 5 carbs in water. That's what.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I love those. There's like those specific examples that come up that you're like, I used to feel that way and that was not fun, you know?
It's not. And yeah, now, I'm at a different size, but I'm also not looking at a can of water and the carbs in it. Like I don't stuff like that. So thanks.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting you said that about like those people looking sick. That's how I feel now too. Like at first, when you're kind of wanting to lose weight and everything, those people are like your goal. And then when you're kind of, I guess, see through the matrix a little bit of what it takes to get there and how that's not worth it, then you're like, they actually don't look healthy. They look tired and sad and unhappy. They have like a shallow face, which reminds me of malnutrition because they probably are malnourished. They look sick. And
there's one lady I remember, she constantly, her weight would go up, and then they would do these challenges, these fit challenges where whoever could lose the most weight in 2 months, and she would just plummet, and you could see because you would see it in the clothes, and then she'd go right back up, and I'm like, that's not good either. No. So
and there's research that shows that's way more dangerous for our health than any potential danger with being like overweight or obese, which there's not even true evidence on that either. So yeah, it's crazy that we think that that's healthy to just like swing back and forth, and be miserable. So I'm glad you're out of that. What was different about this process compared to Farrell's and that macro counting, hardcore 6 days a week exercising?
I did like the kickboxing, but it is what it is. What's different about this is you're not following a schedule to be hungry or not hungry. You're not following a little box. And sometimes I still catch myself, like, each meal that we consumed had to have, I think it was 20 carbs, 10 grams of fat, and then 20 was it carbs, fat, protein, something like that, or 10. And sometimes I'll look at something and I'll think that, like, if my breakfast this morning would have been right into that meal, but I was like, this is a meal, it's a little bar. Like, so it's just allowing myself to have a meal when I want a meal and not having a meal when I don't want it. Whereas with that, you have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, whether hungry is what they would tell you.
Yeah.
I was always hungry, but.
So then that 2 or 3 hours probably didn't feel like it was soon enough.
No, it didn't. And it was constantly, when am I going to eat again? When am I going to eat again? And now it's, oh, I haven't eaten in a while. Oh, that must be why I feel like this. Okay.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love that. What would you say to somebody that is coming from kind of a similar, maybe circumstance that you were, where, well, first of all, I remember our first call, I think and I remember we've talked about this too. Like one of the first things that you said to me was, I feel like everything in my life is good. Got it all like under control. I'm happy, except this one thing, which was your relationship with food and struggling with binge eating. So let's say that somebody feels that same way and they're watching this and they're thinking, man, I struggle with this and I don't like that I struggle with this. I don't know how to fix it. I've tried macro counting, I've tried excessive exercise, and I'm still obsessed with food or think about it all the time. What would you say to them if they were considering this process?
They owe it to themselves. They owe it to
Mm.
themselves to not have to live like that anymore, because if they're doing it and they're still not happy, then they're not doing it right.
Mm.
Insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I did the same thing over and over every week. I would restrict myself all week long because I was told that on Saturday was the fun day or the free day. Like, what the hell's a free day? That's not the way it works. So I would
Yeah.
wait until the weekend to put all the food into my body and then still feel like I didn't get enough. I should just do a little bit more. So I do it on Sunday too. But after doing all this, I don't feel that anymore. I don't have to wait for my fun free day. Like, nope, every day's fun now because I'm going to eat carrots for breakfast today. And tomorrow I'm going to eat cereal for breakfast because that's what I want. I'm 42 years old. I should be able to do whatever the hell I want. So, and
Yes.
telling me need to restrict to be this. And I don't know. I hope
Awesome.
that comes across well in your video. And if anybody ever watches this, they can
It
call me.
will. It will. It's so good. I love that. And I think a lot of what I'm hearing is just freedom, right? Like
I broke the
my
cycle.
program. Yeah. Yeah. The cycle is you get stuck in it and there's no getting out unless you actively try.
Yeah.
And it's okay to get help for that.
Yeah. I couldn't have done it by myself. I tried real hard, but no. And it helps. The best part of your program is whether it's on the Facebook group or in the app where people talk about what they're going through or their small victories. And you're like, holy shit, that happens to other people too. I can't believe it. Like, just normal. I hate the word normal, but normalizing our
Mhm.
experience. We're not
Yeah.
the only.
I think that's my favorite part is this community aspect because it's so isolating to struggle with body image or struggle with your relationship with food or binge eating. Like nobody talks about that.
They don't.
Nobody. And you feel like you're the only one, but you're not. There's like so many people that are struggling with the same thing. And so I think that it's like scary to enter into community because it's like, well, I don't really want to talk about this because I'm not very happy about this part of my life, but it's also very freeing to be like, this is me and I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And there's hope. I'm
100%.
glad you enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, a lot.
Awesome. Well, Kelly, you're amazing. I'm so freaking proud of you. I can't believe it's been 4 months already.
Either.
It's so crazy. Any other thoughts today or anything, any last words?
Last words is, if you do use this video for whatever reasons and somebody's watching it and they're questioning, should I really do this? Like, they owe it to themselves. You owe it to yourself. Just do it. It's 4 months goes by really fast. So just do it.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you, Kelly. You're incredible.
Yep.
I so appreciate you and appreciate you trusting me with this process.
Yeah, your program's amazing.
Thank you so much. Keep me informed on how you're doing and don't become a stranger.
All right. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.